It's a fascinating story. Think about it. It was laying in the NBC News archives. This story, it was a documentary really about the white perspective on segregation in Mississippi, and they happened upon this black waiter from a white restaurant who really unloaded about his pain, what it was truly like to be a black man in Greenwood during the Jim Crow South. Now, I want to warn you before we play a clip for you, you're going to hear a word in this report that you don't often hear on TV, one that I think you'll appreciate. I don't take lightly, but it's important to understand the depth of his pain and why this was so shocking at the time and now. Here it is. The words were heartfelt and laced with pain.
The meaner the man be, the more you smile, although you're crying on the inside.
But in 1966, those words had the incendiary impact of a Molotov cocktail in certain sections of Greenwood, Mississippi.
Some people are nice, some is not. Some call me Booker, some call me John, some call me Jim, some call me nigger. All that right, but you have to smile.
That piece of film was not seen at the time by a lot of the local black people. A lot of them did not own televisions.
The impact of what he said was felt in the white community because so many whites knew him, so many whites really felt that they had friendship with him, and to hear him say, no, this isn't friendship, this is humiliation for me, it was a wake-up call.
Alan Wood is one of those whites who knew and liked Booker Wright.
He was a great personality, good man.
Then came that Sunday evening in May 1966 when the happy-go-lucky black man Alan Wood had known for most of his life suddenly appeared on his TV set, saying he wasn't
and they are
happy.
doing good. Night after night, I lay down and I dream about what I had to go through with. I don't want my children to have to go through it.
That's the first time I realized Booker felt that way. After the show, a lot of people were pretty upset.
Many whites in Greenwood shunned Booker after that. But on the black side of the tracks, Booker's monologue became the stuff of legend.
People who I thought would have been too young to know him knew him by reputation. It had become almost sort of like folklore in Greenwood.
Andrew is almost the accidental activist. Nothing in Booker Wright's history suggested this before he said this, and he didn't really say anything about it afterwards, this one time. But he was beaten, and he paid a heavy price for what he said on TV that day, and this had been long forgotten. But now, thanks to his granddaughter, and thanks to this filmmaker, they are now telling his story.
And thanks to you, Lester. This is extraordinary. What ended up happening to Booker Wright? How did he die?
He was beaten. He was murdered several years later, and there's some question as to whether it was linked to what he said or not. Now, he had his own bar on the black side of town, his own restaurant. It was called Booker's Place, and one day a customer altercation, and he was shot. The filmmakers who produced their own documentary about this suggest that it might have been as a result of what he said, but he definitely paid a price. The filmmaker who did the original documentary said to him, "Are you sure you want us to use this?" Because he recognized how incendiary it was, and Booker said, "No, I want you to use it. I want people to know how I feel."
Well, it's an extraordinary story. I mean, Greenwood, Mississippi, we think of Harding Carter Sr., of some of the legendary journalists down there who tried in the Mississippi Delta to do so much good during those years. And now to learn that NBC News was there and doing this kind of work, and that you're expanding on it, Lester.
Well, it's a very changed place right now. You know, somebody asked me what was the white reception about this story. My sense is folks down there don't run from their history. In fact, they appreciate their history as, if no other reason, a measure of how far things have progressed. Greenwood now has a mixed city council. It's a fully integrated town, and you know, folks knew we were doing this story and found it very fascinating and very interesting.
Lester, I am enthralled, and we'll all be watching. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thanks.
And you can all catch Finding Booker's Place on Dateline Sunday, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 Central on NBC. And what political story will make headlines in the next 24